Hello everyone, today we are going to see how to implement drag and drop functionality for the 2D sprites in Unity. So here we have a simple 2D scene with two items and two item slots, and you can see a white circle for the mouse movement. Yes, we're going to implement mouse movement and drag and drop functionality for the sprites, so it won't go to the wrong slots. So once it is placed inside a slot, we won't be able to drag them. So this is what we're going to create today. So let us start. Alright, so I have created here a basic 2D scene. Okay, so let me first create a mouse movement script. Okay, so that you can see the movement of the mouse. Okay, for that I'm going to add a sprite. So this can be glue white. Okay, I'm going to change the order to 1. Alright, so I'm going to change the scale as well. You can see the white dot here, right? So let me rename this to mouse pointer. So right now if I play the scene, we can only see the movement of the arrow, whereas we want the white sprite also to move accordingly as per our mouse. Okay, so that is what we're going to do. So for that, let me create a new folder for our scripts. So let us call it as scripts. Okay, double click it and create a new C# script. We can call as mouse pointer movement, right? So we don't want anything, we simply want to capture the movement of our mouse. So for that, all we want is update function. So update. All right, so then we need a vector3 variable to store the mouse position. All right, so then mouse position is equal to camera dot main dot screen to all point, then input dot mouse position. What we did here is we are getting the mouse position input, and then we are converting that point from screen space to world space. Okay, so I'm using main camera. I'm having only one camera here, so that this code will work. If you have double cameras, then you have to assign it separately about this method. So then simple thing, transform dot position is equal to mouse position. That's it. Add this mouse pointer movement script to our game object. So just drag and drop like this. Okay, so save the scene and let me play. Now the white circle is gone, right? So let me stop this. The thing is, if I play focused here, you can see that the white circle is moving in the scene but not in the game window. That is because we have not changed the z value. The z value of both our mouse pointer and camera is -10, so we have to change that. Alright, so what we have to do is simply change the z value to 0f. So this will now work fine. So this is our game window. Now the pointer is moving, right? The white circle is moving. So we implemented mouse pointer movement very easily. So if it is not working, make sure that you have changed the Z value of the mouse pointer. Let us create a draggable item. So from my arts folder, I'm going to I'm going to drag portion here. So let us change the order as well. So I'm going to make that to 1, right? And rename this to item. Let me add this slot here. Change that to 1. Simply call this as item slot, right? Now we have to implement the drag functionality for our item. So let us create a script. So right click and create drag drop item. So let me open the drag drop item. So now we want that item to be draggable. So let us use a default method, which is private void on mouse drag. Okay, so while dragging, the object should move. So we will do that later. Before that, we'll just check if it is dragged or not. Let's go to our item and add this drag drop item. So before this, we have to do one important thing. That is, we should add a collider. Only then we can drag that item. Okay, since this is a sprite, we should add a 2D collider. So let me add a collider. So box collider 2D is fine for this. If I play this, I can see the mouse movement, and if I start dragging it, see, it is being called. Okay, it is working now. Now change its position as well. So we don't want this function now. We simply want transform dot position is equal to mouse pointer position that we can get from our game object. So right, so then mouse pointer dot position. What we are doing here is we are simply assigning our mouse position to this item. Play this scene. We can see the mouse movement, and it is not working because we have not assigned. Okay, stop, sorry for that. Assign this mouse pointer game object here. Just clear this one and save it and play. Yeah, we can now drag this item, right? Awesome. But we want the item to go back to the original position if we drop this item somewhere else. Okay, so what should we do? Let us go to our script. So what are we going to do here is we are going to use private void on mouse up. That means when we release the dragging, this method will be called. Okay, so what should we do means we have to check whether it is placed inside a slot. Okay, right now we have not implemented any slot. So let me first of all create a bool. I'm going to say is placed in slot which is gonna be initially false. So if is placed in slot is equal to false means that means it is not placed in slot, so it is dropped somewhere else. In that case we are going to put it back to the original position. So for that, transform dot position is equal to original position. So we have not assigned this, so let me assign it first. Right, so we can get the original starting position from the start method. So original position is equal to transform dot position. So this will give us the initial position of the item. All right, so let us see. So now we can drag, and if we drop, it is going back to the original position. Wherever we drop, this will go back to the original position. So now we can see that this is getting behind our slot. We can fix that by changing the order of this sprite. On mouse drag, what should we do is transform dot game object, which can be, I'm going to set that to 5, so that whenever we drag the item it will be always in the front. So once we release that item, we have to set it back to the default order. Okay, that we can do here on mouse up. We have to set the sort in order to 1. Right, now I can able to drag, and you can see that this is coming in front, and you can see here the order will change here. See, it is getting changed 5. Right, okay, now let us implement the drop functionality for the slot. If we put this item on the slot, it should be placed there. Okay, so if it is false, we are moving it back to the original position. But before that, we have to check whether it is inside the slot. For that, we're going to use a method called vector to dot distance. So this will calculate the distance between 2 points. So that is the distance between the slot and this item. So we have not assigned slot yet. Let me assign that. Okay, so here we are going to check the distance between the slot and the item. Okay, so first transform dot position comma item slot dot position. If it is less than 2f, so this value change as per your sprite. Okay, if it is too big means then this value will increase. So if it is less than 2f means we are going to simply put it inside the slot. That means we're going to change the position. So that means we're going to assign the item slot position to the dropped item. Okay, if it is not less than 2f means then we are going to set it back to the original position. Right, so we have to assign our item slot here. So just drag drop. All right, play. Yeah, I can drop it, I can drag it again even if it is placed. So I should disable that, and I have to change the sorting order of this item. I'm not going to touch anything here. Simply I'm going to change the bg texture order to -1, and the slot would be in 0 position. Right now, if I play, you can clearly see that if I drop this item closer to the slot, it is sticking to that position. So now also we can drag this item. That we should change. Once it is placed means we have to disable the drag function. Okay, so how to do that? On mouse release, if the distance between the slot and the item is very small, then we are changing the position, right? And what should we do means we have to change the is placed in slot is equal to true, right? Okay, this is very important. So once this is done means drag should not work. Okay, so here we can simply use if is placed in slot is equal to false, then only these codes will work, otherwise it won't be dragged. All right, yeah, now it is not getting dragged. All right, so I have created a single item here. I'm going to add another item, but before that I'm going to make these two game objects as prefabs. So just create a new folder and call it as prefabs. Inside that, just drag this item as well as drag this item slot. So these two are now prefabs, right? So I'm going to delete these two things from our scene because we have added them to prefabs. Now let me add all these items again to the scene. So I'm going to change this to item portion and change this item slot to item slot portion, right? So let me duplicate these two. Okay, second item I'm going to call that as item hat. So I'm already having a sprite for that, changing it. I'm going to change the slot to item slot hat. So for the visual clarity, I'm going to go inside the item slot, and inside that I'm going to put this portion here. Now you can see that all the prefabs are updated. This is what an important feature of prefab. If you change in one thing, it will get updated in all the prefabs. All right, so let me change here the image to hat. Simply put that to hat. That's it. So, and one more thing. So go to this item hat, and for this we have to assign item pointer, sorry, mouse pointer, and item slot should be item slot hat. And for the item portion we have to assign mouse pointer and item slot portion. And for our item hat we have a default collider. If you want to adjust the collider, you can change that as well. So save this and play. Okay, so it is not going to the wrong slots. Yeah, and now it is not getting dragged. Great. Yeah, that's it. So this is how we have to implement the drag and drop functionality for our 2D sprites. But if you want to implement this drag and drop functionality for the UI elements, then you have to do differently. This won't work for the canvas elements. Okay, that is different. This code will only work for 2D sprites. Okay, not for the UI elements. The approach is different for the UI elements. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial. I hope you have learned something new in this tutorial. If you have any doubts, you can post them in the comments. Alright, thanks again for watching. See you soon in the next video.